we are back. So, it is a wet and rainy morning in March. March 23rd, 1887 to be precise. As we must, sometimes. And as the grey skies over London pour down rain onto grey streets, a newspaper seller, sort of like sheltering underneath an umbrella, calls out, "Read all about it! Horror in Highgate Cemetery! Bloodthirsty murder! Bloodthirsty murder in Highgate Cemetery! Read all about it!" And this cry can be heard in various parts of London. Outside Mortimer's shop, a different cellar somewhere near Crashly's offices. There are no screaming cellars in the dignified streets of Grosvenor Square, but the paper has been brought up by James, the butler. And Franco, over in your offices, your boss is cursing you and everyone else around him for not getting the scoop on this story early enough. So we'll start over at the very scooped paper. I can't believe it. Bloodthirsty murder, wild beast on the loose, whatever it is. And why, Franco, why did we not get this story?
Oh, because nobody knew about it.
This is what I pay you for. Knowing about things. Maybe we can get a follow-up. Franco, I'm putting you on this one.
Sure.
Get the follow-up on this. If there's another murder, I want us to be the first on the scene with the details. I want the guts, the gore. Maybe next time it'll be a young woman or family. They always sell better when it comes to the murders, to be honest. Some old groundskeeper is... if it wasn't for the torn apart part of it, I don't think this one would sell as well. But, yeah, I want the details. Tragic, of course, this incident is. But,
Obviously. The Bidwell story went well, though, didn't it?
Oh, yes, the Bidwell story was good. You handled that one well. Butler did it. Always a good seller.
Yeah, gets the rich scared.
Keep them on their toes. Or a few pay rises going around off the back of that, you know?
True.
I think this story about disgruntled butlers murdering their masters.
I'll be looking in. If there's somebody that's, tearing up people, probably gonna do it again.
Oh. Well, yes, that is...
not that we would ever want, right?
No, but I wonder if it's connected. I mean, there's some cases up on Hampstead Heath last month. Maybe they're connected. Maybe we can... We'll save that for if we can't find anything. If you can't find anything good on this one, we can pull on the connection thread. See if...
Certainly.
Yeah. Let's not overplay that one too soon if we can find a good thing on Highgate alone. Right. Well... Oh, what are you still standing here for?
Obviously, I'm going. Wasn't just not sure whether you had still something to say.
No,
out and towards the alias.
Okay.
Because I'm definitely knowing that there was some weird shit in that cellar under that house, and something eating the dead bodies under the cemetery, and that there's a big giant badger. Yeah, that's 3. Okay.
Yeah, so you're making your way over to Grosvenor Square.
Yep.
Meanwhile, this same news has reached the ears of a private detective and a bookseller. And I'm trying to remember if either of you... Was one of you with the group that had visited the graveyard before? I can't remember. Yes, Morgan. So yes, Morgan, you hear the news crier and you see this headline in the paper. Highgate Horror. And you're muted.
I think we're going to have to follow Miss Carter's advice and go a little peeking at the cemetery because it goes a little too far for me. London Esoteric Society it is. So I'm going to Miss Carter to the London Esoteric Society to see if other people are gathering there and to see if she wants to go to the cemetery this evening.
Okay, so you as well make your way through the rain-soaked street. Meanwhile, over in Bloomsbury, the news reaches the ears of a certain specialist bookseller / book restorer / criminal mastermind.
Okay, well, I'd planned to visit Highgate to check because I'd heard from the other members of the London Esoteric Society there'd been a matter of some graves had been dug up. So my parents are actually buried there, so I want to, they're buried there, there's a crypt there. So I want to visit to make sure nothing's happened near where the graves are.
Okay.
So I'll probably pick some flowers from somewhere and make my way towards Highgate.
Okay, so you're heading over to Highgate. Alright, so heading out into the rain, you head up to North London to the Grand Highgate Cemetery.
I will mention I am taking my gun because there's been a murder there.
And of course,
And I'm a bit nervous of that.
All good cemetery visits should include a gun. But yes, as you head up to the cemetery, we'll get back to you in just a moment. As Maddie. I can't say words. It's raining. And James has brought you your morning tea and paper.
I'm in my room, or I think I'm in my room.
Where
so
would
I'll
you
have
normally
to
take tea and breakfast? Up to you.
I think right now I would want to be in my room. It's raining, so I've got the curtains drawn, I've got all the candles lit, got the fireplace going, and I'm making myself comfortable away from all the things that I don't like.
Miss Carter?
Yes.
May I come in? I've brought your breakfast.
Very well.
Here you go. Here's your tea, crumpets, and the paper.
Thank you.
If you need anything else, just ring.
Thank you very much.
Irene, Lady Irene says should be back in a few days, perhaps a week. The engagement's taking a little longer than she expected.
That's fine. Thank you.
Oh, hang on. I think I heard the door. Sorry. Excuse me.
Mm-hmm. I will eat my breakfast and start reading the paper.
Okay. So as you start reading the paper, the headline that meets your eye is the horror in Highgate. As it appears that the groundskeeper, Mr. John Key, has been brutally mauled to death. The paper speculates whether this... Actually, you'd probably get a more refined paper that puts this down to an escaped animal and doesn't go too far into the speculation on what was this. But the line the police are going with is that a wild animal has escaped from a local circus or a zoo and attacked poor Mr. Key whilst he was locking up the cemetery that evening. They're asking locals to keep their eyes open and report to the police if they see anything out of the ordinary.
I knew it. There's something wrong there. I'm going to put the paper down and just focus on the tea and meal.
Okay. Meanwhile, downstairs, Franco and Morgan are shown inside out of the rain by James. Oh, sir, let me take your coat.
Thanks.
Don't want you dripping water all over the nice rugs, do we?
So, Morgan, I assume you read the newspaper?
Yeah, I read about it.
Yeah, I still have the ringing in my ear. My boss was not amused that it's not us that wrote that. But to be honest, I wasn't really thinking about cops eating whatever the fuck in our newspaper, and now maybe I should have, but
One thing at a time.
yeah.
One thing at a time. But if you want, I was just going to propose to Miss Carter if you want to go to the cemetery this evening. So if you want to come along.
Yeah, well, I was just thinking that him dying means that there's stuff for us to do, because that's definitely not normal. That was definitely not. I'm still maintaining that I think that this thing lives below the vein state.
I think there is a connection. The hole that we saw.
As I said, I found that exhaust, basically that air vent kind of thing. And I heard like a giant animal roaming around below and making sounds.
It's true. You told us that the vein manor is not far from the cemetery.
Exactly. And that's why I'm here, right? I was thinking that that's something for the whole of us. And if I'm probably needing to get a story out of the whole thing, but well, I was quite pleased with the Bidwill thing, so I hope maybe if I don't, it's still fine. But he was really salty.
We'll get you a new story. Don't worry, lad.
Sure. Let's go in. Miss Carter's probably waiting for us.
Miss Carter? Mr. McCrashley and Mr. Burness are downstairs. I think they're probably looking for you. Would you like me to send them away, or?
I'll meet them in the library. I assume it's what's to do within the paper.
What? I'll let them know.
Read the paper if you have a chance. Be aware of what's going on.
What? I try not to be too aware. There's a lot of horrible things going on in the world, and this house.
Yes, but it'll keep you safer if you're aware. And I will leave the room. I'll hand him the paper personally.
You see his eyes go wide as he reads it, and you hear a little mutter of, "Oh, not again." Why? I got work at a normal house.
I will go to the library.
All right, you arrive downstairs to join Morgan and Franco.
Miss Carter.
Yes, the cemetery that I knew something was going to happen at.
There was already things happening there, right?
Oh yes, remember the sinking graves?
Mm-hmm, exactly. And the poor, probably by now dead night watchman.
And the fame and the big hole that could feed a man as well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Let's not forget that. But we should have been there sooner. But with all this story to Cube and everything, I don't know, it's a little felt out of hand. So, but what about going back today? What do you think about that? Preference for day, night? Both?
I would prefer in the daytime, but likely we won't find anything. And has anybody had the opportunity to speak with Scotland Yard?
Not yet, no. You want me to go find...
Yes, we might want to speak with the
Inspector Barnes?
Yes, either that or have him come here to speak with us about it. Actually, that's probably the better idea. I will take a piece of paper off the desk, write a quick note asking for the Inspector Barnes to come visit for a conversation, and pass it to James.
I'll get this sent over.
Thank you. Do we have any idea what it is?
Franco here has thinks it's maybe not a badger.
At least, it might be a huge badger, monstrosity, whatever. But, it's digging around in the ground. I'm assuming, because I found that air vent and heard some creature below, that it might be below the Wayne's house. Might be a different creature though, but they're really close to another, so that's unlikely. And there's the thing that the man said before. He assumed it's the same person that died, but might be a different one. That he was gonna hide in his shed every night and keep the doors locked. He might have not done so for a reason, and then,
or he got caught up, or the sun was setting early, or the cloud. Any of those reasons. He did say that after sunset, it was a bad idea to be in that particular graveyard.
So if we want to see what it is, we need to be there after sundown.
Which means we need supplies to protect ourselves if we go.
Mm-hmm. Looking at the fact that it just, rips people apart, what kind of supplies would help us not being ripped apart?
Like swords, guns, things of that nature.
Big bait for it to rip apart instead.
Are you volunteering?
No. I was thinking like a doe or something. From a butcher.
Oh, likely it wants it alive.
Conies?
And
you can bring some conies.
Maddie is going to stand up, go over to the bookcases, and see if she can find any animals that are known to be excessively aggressive, that tend to hang out in or near graveyards.
Okay, so as you are browsing the bookshelves, we'll get back to you in a moment. I think it's time to check in with Mortimer, who had bought some flowers and also stopped to check his library, as all good people do before going anywhere. So, yes, Mortimer, what are you looking for before you head out to the cemetery?
I'm looking for any sort of undead creature that eats corpses.
Okay,
I've just got.
Where are you looking for this? Where are you looking?
Well, I'd like to check the book of the Mythos book I've got.
Mr. Up.
And also just my secret hidden private library that's beneath my shop.
Okay.
Which has obscure stuff in, but
make me a roll against the Mythos rating of your book, and also a general library use roll. And Maddie, whilst you're looking through your library, where are you looking for information?
Going to start with normal animals that might be in London that could inhabit any of the parks or something that would be aggressive to humans.
Oh, actually, I think to make this not a library use roll, I'm going to make this a natural world check for the natural animals. Yeah.
Oh, that's a fail.
You can't, I mean, you can't, maybe there might be some wild animals. You can't really put your, you know, you can make me a library use roll now. That was just more if you could think of off the top of your head anything from knowledge. But without knowing much about the natural world, you refer to your library books. And as you look through, to be honest, London is not known for its large or dangerous wildlife. Looking up nocturnal creatures of London, you get as far as stray dogs, badgers, foxes, and that is probably about large rats. Yes. There are some horror stories of massive rats lurking in the sewers, but how much truth is behind them is debatable. But, yeah.
Okay.
There aren't really any larger wild animals to be found in London.
And I don't think I have any... Do I have any books that might indicate unnatural animals?
I think I believe you're in possession of 2 books of obscure knowledge, right? At this point?
Yes, I have...
Or it's a society. You have a copy of Nameless Cults and
Monsters and Their Kind.
Yes.
I will go and look through that one next.
Okay, give me a roll against the mythos rating of Monsters and Their Kind.
I don't have a
just
percentage
roll D100, and I will. It's got a mythos rating of 24.
I've got a 42.
Okay, so I'll get back to you in a moment. Mortimer, scrolling through the Vermis Mysteries, you can't find anything that seems to tie directly to this. There are mentions of summoning and binding all sorts of creatures, but none of them seem quite right.
Could I spend luck on this?
Yes.
What is the mythos rating of the book?
The mythos rating of this book is 36. So that would be 7 points of luck to make that a success.
I'll go with that.
Okay, so you think, there's nothing in here, nothing useful, as you flick through. And then you run your finger back over a passage you just missed. A passage that is not a great detail, but a reference mostly to the corpse eaters of the desert, found in the valley of the Nile. And more of a myth than instruction. This supposedly there's a cult out in the deserts of Egypt that worshipped some god or goddess associated with the eaters of corpses, and their rites and rituals involved eating the flesh of the dead.
Now, the thing that makes me worried about that is the item my sister smuggled. I don't know where it came from.
No.
I'm just wondering if it is Egypt.
You don't.
But that's something I'll have to find out.
So that's as much as you get from your book.
It doesn't say anything like strengths or anything to be concerned about my
It
fears.
just more mentions that
They exist.
they gained their strength and powers by eating corpses. It doesn't mention what their strength and powers are, only they got them by the eating of corpses. Maddie, your book doesn't mention anything specific related to corpse eating or beasts that might be found lurking in cemeteries.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
All right. I'll return the book to where I have it, and then I will return to the library.
That is a question. Where are you keeping Monsters and Their Kind? If you don't want to let the others know, you can send it to me in a message.
Okay. I'll send it to you in a message.
The trust is strong. Yeah, let me know. I'm just trying to make sure I keep track of all these arcane artifacts and tomes of where they spend their time, because I've got. Yeah. If there's a terrible house fire, I want to know what you've lost. Not, of course, that terrible house fires would ever happen in this game. So, yeah, Maddie, you look through your books, and Mortimer, you have perused your collection. Mortimer, are you still heading over to the graveyard?
Yep.
Alright. So, by the time you've finished reading your book, the rain has lessened up a bit. But it's still a steady pitter-patter of rain. And the gutters are overflowing. And as you make it up to the cemetery, you can see some mire of mud where there's grass, and currently a couple of police officers hanging outside the groundskeeper's cottage near the entrance.
I passed the hut on my way in, so I'll just wander over to speak to the officers.
Morning.
Good morning. Just visiting to lay some flowers. I've only just heard the news. This is dreadful what's happened. Have you any ideas what may have happened?
Some sort of wild animal escaped. Possibly from a travelling circus.
Could be. You never know. There's quite a few strange animals out
I'm
there.
thinking it might be a lion. I'm thinking tiger.
No, I know you don't have to give me any information about this, obviously, but I was curious, has the body been taken?
Yeah, it's gone off to the morgue.
Well, I served some time in India, so I'm familiar with bodies that have been attacked, or bodies of people who've been attacked by tigers. So
good for you.
You never know, I might be able to assist if necessary. But I should introduce myself. I'm Dr. Mortimer Davenport. I run a small bookstore, Davenport Books. But should anyone need any information, I don't tend to specialise in pathology as such, but I'm familiar with the wounds and injuries, so I might be able to advise.
Well, if the doctor over at the morgue doesn't find anything, someone will be on the look for you.
Was this something that happened overnight then? Or I'm just wondering how safe I am.
Oh, we've checked the graveyard. There's no sign of anything there anymore. Whatever happened last night.
Yeah, was he attacked in his hut or just in the grounds?
Yeah, it broke in through the window.
Oh, that's... Nobody's safe these days. You would have thought someone in their own home.
Yeah.
Well, I'll better leave you to it.
I tell you, vicious creatures.
Could very well be. Or a panther. Could be a panther.
Oh, I hadn't considered the panther. They're like the black ones, right? Aren't they? No, I'm fairly sure that's a jaguar. No, and the two police officers start an argument about the identification of great cats.
I'll just wander past to where I want to be. Basically, visit family crypt to make sure it's not been broken into before heading towards the... I think it's likely to be the north of the cemetery where they'd mentioned the graves have been dug up and broken into.
Yeah, I think it was the northeast. I can't remember precisely.
It's near the Vane House. I've got an idea where it is because I know who they are. So.
Alright, so as you head over to your family crypt, we're going to hop back over to the people at the London Esoteric Society. Having finished perusing the library. Mortimer and Franco, as Maddie was perusing her books, were you two up to anything?
Maybe
Not
help.
particularly.
I will be maybe help. Ask her if I could help her with something. Maybe go through some books if she permits it.
If you'd like to look through anything that might show where someone else might have come in to the graveyard, I'm sure we have maps of things in this part of the library. Because there's got to be other ways besides the front gate to get in, not to mention possibly finding out what might be underneath the house next door, or houses next door.
Some kind of gutters.
Yeah, well, there's got to be a reason why the graves had sunk.
Okay, I'll go see if I can see something on the maps.
Okay, make me a library use check, please.
It's a success.
Okay, so you're looking around sort of old maps. I mean, not that old actually. This is a fairly new cemetery, built on open, empty land at the edge of the city, and there are only a couple of properties actually abutting the graveyard. The largest of those being Vane House, of which you don't have any plans of in your library. But that is the only property of significant size that directly joins onto the graveyard, as far as you can tell. I mean, and you know that most old houses of that size would have cellars and basements. The house itself is not directly next to the graveyard, so you wouldn't expect them to extend underneath the graveyard. They'd be closer to the house. There's no records of any old, like, sewers or tunnels that up there. It's sort of out of the city proper too, so there's no railway tunnels, none of that, and around there. And this looks like a deliberate choice. Like, they've deliberately built a graveyard not over the top of any known underground structures or other things that might be upset by digging a load of holes in the ground and filling them with bodies. So
Franco will look around as the others are looking at through books. And do you have something on like bait and like trappings and poison for rodents and stuff like that?
Oh yes. Anything related to hunting would be over in there. And she'll point at a shelf.
I would peruse that and try to find something that we could just drop down that air vent and find a very easy solution for a probably complicated problem.
okay, so you're looking for poison, like
Some piece of flesh with poison that we can just throw down there and hope that it just dies.
I'm gonna say make me a library use check on how much useful information you can find in this library about.
Okay, so that's gonna be really, really hard. Yeah, no.
Yeah, looking for. There's a lot of books about hunting, but they're mostly seem to refer to the gentlemanly sport of like grouse shooting and that manner of stuff, rather than trying to poison things that live in someone's cellar. There are also a couple of books of household management about how to poison rats, but their instructions probably go as far as buy rat poison.
Yeah. Well, I guess then we buy rat poison in an amount of size that's for an animal that's big enough to rip people apart. So probably 3 whole cans or something. It's gonna work, right? I'm gonna be buying some stuff. I'll be right back. Franco's gonna leave.
Okay, so you're off to go buy some rat poison
Exactly.
in large quantities.
Yeah. In quantities that might make somebody suspicious if I want to poison a well or something.
Okay, so as Franco heads out to buy rat poison, Maddie and Mortimer, do you have any plans for whilst he's gone? Not Mortimer, Maddie and Morgan. I apologise. No, actually, I don't apologise. You've all chosen M names. This is your fault.
Hey, I chose the M name first.
Okay, you're excused. Mortimer and Morgan, this is your fault.
You're muted.
Actually, Mortimer asked me what kind of name we should choose, and I told him choose an M. It's going to be easier for her.
Alright, so Morgan and Maddie, do you have any plans whilst Franco is out buying copious amounts of poison?
I am waiting for the inspector to come visit.
Okay.
I'm going to transfer all the information I gathered that Miss Carter, there is nothing underneath the graveyard, something, no sewers, nothing suspicious. So it's even more, it's weirder than I thought. Do you have books concerning legends about graveyards, maybe entities or something like that?
I'm not sure. I wasn't able to find anything in my special books, but
maybe regular folklore?
Maybe. Let's look at this part of the library and we'll check a different shelf.
Okay, if you head over to the folklore section. Alright, we'll get back to you two in a moment. Meanwhile, Mortimer, making your way through the rain-soaked graveyard over to the Davenport crypt. And are we talking a grand mausoleum here, or is this more of one of those little stone affairs? Bear in mind that this cemetery is new, so there's only room for, I think, probably like one generation. Yeah, this is only been a cemetery since 1839.
It is pretty new, but also I'm trying to think now. The crypt would have been bought whilst the family were doing quite well, so it would probably be a fairly impressive one. The way I imagine it, there's an area where they have a number of crypts side by side, like family little.
I was going to
family
ask,
mausoleums.
is it in like the Egyptian section where you got those big?
It is likely to have, say, decorative pillars either side, similar to what they've got at the manor house.
Hang on, let me just. I'm going to pop something in the Discord that is from Highgate Cemetery and ask, is it like one of these? Please hold. Please hold. Do you mean like those? So where they've got sort of lots of little stone crypts side by side?
Yeah, pretty much. But as I said, it would be decorated similar to the entranceway to the manor house. They would have personalised it a little bit, I think.
Okay, so you make your way through into, I think it's it's called the Egyptian Avenue, if I'm remembering my cemetery knowledge correctly. This grand gate it's all very, very Egyptian themed. A lot of the main grand bit of this graveyard. You make your way down and over to the family crypt. With this entrance leading down into the inside. Would there be any gate barring it off, or is it just?
Oh, there'd definitely be a gate to stop wildlife getting in. There would be a locked gate at the entranceway itself.
Okay. In which case,
at least there should have been. I don't know if that's
there
still
is
the case.
still a gate at the entrance. But I would ask you, could you make me a spot hidden here, please? If you would like.
Of course. That's just the purple one, isn't it?
Saying no to a spot hidden is always allowed.
Hang on, that's wrong.
That's
Should have
fine.
done the green.
Yeah. If you roll purple die instead of green dice, it doesn't matter. I can just read off the middle row. Yeah, as you come closer to the gate, you notice something. There are marks in the metal. Scratch marks. Much like something has clawed at the bars.
Trying to get in or trying to get out? I'm hoping.
Trying to get in.
That's good. That's better than the alternative. But,
It looks like it hasn't succeeded, but there's definitely something was trying to claw its way in.
Well, I shall be quick here. Quicker than I planned to be. I'll open the crypt and basically lay the flowers inside, but I'd also actually have, not that it makes much of a difference, after going in the entranceway there is a small oil lantern to the side, just on the off chance it's dark and I needed to see in there, but I'm not that concerned because it's morning and nothing broke in. So I'll just lay the flowers on my parents' coffins out there, and
Is it just your parents buried here, or is there anyone else buried here?
unfortunately not. His wife and his sons both buried here. There's probably, the way I saw it is they've got like stone alcoves built into the side, so there'd be, I suppose, two either side, like stacked on top of each other, and two at the far end. So the two on one side, actually it's more than likely the far end would have his parents, and I'm not sure how they work with these, whether it's the nearest ones that.
I don't know, I'm afraid.
We'll just assume it's the first, closest ones to the entrance would have his parents in, and then the ones to the right would have his wife and son, and then the two at the far end are empty. So it's not space for many more here, just another two, but yeah, so it's a small affair, but
Well, hopefully they won't be filled for many years to come.
true. But yeah, I'll just lay the flowers and start to make my exit and lock up after myself. But I will actually want to have a look at the other crypts here to see if anything did actually break into any of them.
Okay, doesn't look like anything got into any of the crypts, but there are scratch marks on many of the other bars as well. It looks like something has tried at most of these gates, but they're fairly new, solid gates. None of them are given way.
That's lucky. Then I'll start heading towards where the northeast area where I'd heard that the graves had sunk into the ground, or there'd been tunnels or something, holes like there.
Okay,
I'll head
so
that way.
as you make your way over to the northeast, Franco, can you give me a luck roll, please?
Obviously.
Ladies and gentlemen,
97.
that was a fumble. So, we go over to Franco Bruness, who has just been arrested for trying to buy vast quantities of rat poison. So you're being sort of marched down to the local law enforcement. Like, don't give me that excuse. Nobody has that many rats.
They just keep coming back. I just want more rat poison so I don't have to go
No.
buy every time.
Sit down. What are you planning?
Kill rodents with
Likely,
poison for rodents.
likely story.
I
Name
mean,
and
it's not
address.
becoming less likely. It's not becoming more likely by.
Do you have a lawyer?
No, I'm not usually somebody that offends the law. And buying rat poison is not illegal, I think.
It's not
Is
illegal,
it?
but it's definitely suspicious. Definitely up to something. Right, you sit. Wait there.
Sure.
Clang. And
Well, great.
you see the drip drip of water through the leaky ceiling of the jail cell in which you are currently waiting.
Normally it's my brother who's ending up here. Well, I'm gonna sit back and wait, I guess. I don't intend to offend the law. I might skirt it on occasion, but
You're just having a really unlucky day.
yeah.
So yes, back at Grosvenor Square, Franco has not yet returned from his shopping trip. But there is a knock at the door, and Inspector Barnes arrives, shrugged up in his greatcoat against the steady rain, which has picked up a little bit again. Miss Carter, Mr. McCrashley, wasn't it?
I am so glad that you could take time away from your work to speak with us.
Well, you said you had an interest in the Highgate situation.
Mm-hmm. There's actually been a situation there for a while. I have reason to believe that it's not an escaped animal. I just don't know what it is. And a little over a week ago, was it? And I look at Mr. McCrashley. Right? We spoke with the groundskeeper, and he was very scared of what was, I guess, digging under the graves.
Digging under the graves, you say?
Yes. A good portion of the graves were sinking in, and there was holes that people could go through.
Right.
One of the graves was open, and we could definitely see that there was a big hole under the ground, big enough to let humans pass by.
Curious. None of my men at the scene mentioned seeing anything like that. I'll have to follow up on that. The body is currently with Mr. Peterson over at the morgue. Dr. Peterson over at the morgue. I was really hoping this would be a straightforward escaped animal.
It's not. This has been happening for several weeks at the least.
Right.
As far as I'm understanding, though, whatever it was has been eating the corpses.
I don't want to know the details. Please.
Well, my companions and I are going to request that we be allowed to observe and determine if this is something unnatural happening, and we would like your cooperation with this, if possible.
Definitely. If there is something unnatural happening, I would deeply value your society's assistance. I may have to get you somehow added to the books as consultants. Though I don't really know how that works. Consulting detective, that's not really a thing. We'll have to make it a thing. But, yes. If you could if this is one of those cases, then your assistance would be greatly valued.
Very well. We will probably have to request, or have it be requested on our behalf, a search of the areas outside of the grounds, which will require private residences.
Knocking on doors, that we can do, yes. Yes, I will go and get that seen too. But yes, I will send a message to anyone at the cemetery to allow you access to look around, and to Dr. Peterson at the morgue.
Thank you. I really appreciate this. Is there anything we can offer you, tea or anything before you leave?
No, I've got to get back to work. There's some madman planning some kind of mass poisoning I've got to go talk to.
Mass poisoning?
I don't know. I was just heading out the station, and one of my men came to me to tell me that it apprehended some man trying to buy several shops worth of rat poison. It's probably nothing, but you know, you have to look into these things in case they turn out to be something.
Mr. McCrashley, didn't Mr. Bernice say something about getting poison?
Yeah, he was going to get some rat poison. Oh, no. Inspector, if this person is Mr. Franco Bernice, I think he bought this amount of rat poison because of what we are planning. Yeah, for the graveyard.
Right.
Sorry about that.
I will see to that. Just to be clear, does that mean that the London Esoteric Society's plan for dealing with whatever esoteric abomination might be dwelling in Highgate Cemetery was to kill it with rat poison?
There is a possibility that it is an unnatural animal which likes to consume meat, and if it consumes meat with poison, it might die.
You know what, you make a fair point there. Right, well, if it is him, I will see what I can do. I don't think it's actually illegal to buy rat poison, just suspicious to try and buy all the rat poison. Right. Well, good day. Good day.
Good day, thank you.
And as he shows himself out, we return momentarily to Mortimer as you make your way up to the northeast of the graveyard, where you can see there's a brick wall running along the edge of the graveyard with some thick rhododendron bushes on the other side, and beyond that, Vane Hall. And before the wall, there is this portion of the graveyard in which most of the gravestones have toppled over, and the ground looks to have kind of slumped downwards into this sort of muddy mire of a sinkhole. There are no visible actual holes, and the rain has sort of washed it all down to this sluicing sinkhole area with crater-like holes filled with water, and all these toppled gravestones, and only one gravestone still standing upright in this section.
Which one's that? Is it... Oh, I can't remember now. Anyway. Which gravestone's still upright? Is it like a central one as well?
It's fairly central to the area. Like, all the graves around it have collapsed down into muddy holes. But this central one is still upright. And the name on it is Arabella Vane Grey. 1848 to 1882.
Would that be Archie's wife?
Yes. Cousin Archie's wife.
Good old Uncle Archie. But,
How she died was kind of a bit hushed up in the family, and I mean, his marriage to her was a bit of a kind of unexpected one, which is possibly why she hasn't made it into the Grey family crypts, and she's been relegated out to Highgate Cemetery instead.
yeah, there's
You
not a
get the feeling
pattern.
the family as a whole didn't really approve.
Which family? The Greys or...
The Greys, yes. The Greys.
Yeah. I wouldn't have known anything about her being with some sort of sickness or... You didn't meet her very much because you were travelling abroad a lot. True, my sister
By the time
would.
you're back in the country, she was often ill. Didn't go out in society really at all. Yeah, it was considered quite an unusual marriage for someone of Archie's station. He was definitely marrying down by marrying into the veins.
Yeah.
They're wealthy, but not quite good enough
Not
for the Greys.
nobility.
Yes, no, exactly.
There wasn't like a pattern to the collapsed graves or anything. As
How
far
do
as
you
I can
mean?
tell. Well, I'm assuming that grave that's upright is probably quite central to all of them.
Yes,
It doesn't. Are all the graves around it sunken?
yes.
It's
Sunken
not like
down,
a pattern where
collapsed in.
some haven't, or.
No. Just
Okay, no
Oh.
problem. I don't think there's much I can find out here without potentially putting myself at risk. So I shall head back into London to find the London Esoteric Society to give them some information, because I hadn't actually visited Highgate when I had found the problems here last time. So I'll just give them an update. Although they're likely to have heard the news, they might
Okay.
not have had the same information. So I'll head back to them.
So you're heading back to the society. Meanwhile, Franco, you hear the rattle of keys and the sound of someone approaching your cell. And I can't remember if you've met Inspector Barnes before. I lose track of who's met who.
I certainly have seen him,
Yes.
like, multiple times, and I followed him.
Yes.
I'm certainly not sure whether we've been actually mates.
Yes, I don't think you've met face to face. I think you've just stalked the man. As he peers into your cell and goes, "What's your name, boy?"
Hello, Inspector. I'm Franco.
Surname?
Rennie's.
Ah. Pulls out the keys and starts unlocking your cell.
Thanks.
You are free to go. I've spoken to the London Esoteric Society and they have explained your reasoning.
Yeah, well, we're gonna get a big rodent with the poison.
Right. If you run into trouble with the law again, whilst engaged on London Esoteric Society business, give them my name and I will try and see what I can do. This is not a get out of jail free card. If you actually do crime, you're still going to be arrested. If you murder someone, you're still going to hang. I can't get you off. But if...
Sure, Inspector. I just grew up poor, not criminal.
Got shifty eyes. You can tell a lot about a man by his eyes. And the shape of his head. It's an ongoing science. Got books on it. It's very interesting. Anyway, I will let you go on with your business. And Miller, here's your rat poison.
Great, thanks. We'll talk about whether that worked or not. And I'll leave the station.
Okay. And you arrive back to the Esoteric Society with your rat poison, probably of a time that Mortimer arrives back from his visit to Highgate, as the two of you are let in by James. And Mortimer, you probably see Franco carrying this... What?
Nothing surprises me about Franco.
And I'm not even mad.
You shopping?
Yeah. You remember the air vent? I was thinking of mixing this with meat and then just dropping it down there.
Is there enough space to fit meat down there?
I mean, it's like, if you just get like chopped meat or something like that, it'll fit down there.
Sort of like bait. It could work.
I mean, if it's doesn't work, I mean, what did we lose? A bit of rat poison? I mean, a lot of rat poison. And,
Did no one find it suspicious you were buying that much rat poison?
let's just not talk about that.
I could have just got you some medical supplies that probably could have done the same thing.
I was purposely
more
looking through the
quantity.
library on what would be good, and the only thing that I find was rat poison.
It could work. Anyway, let's get in and see what everyone is up to. I found a bit of information that everyone might want to find out about. I've just
Yep.
been to Highgate to see what's going on there.
I'll just find a place where James lets me to put all that rat poison, because it's not really light.
He does not question it.
Yeah, I assume so.
Where is everyone?
In the
I'd ask-
In the library.
Yeah, I'd ask James because I've just arrived.
In the library, looking for folklore about graveyard monsters, I think.
That's the usual. I do have a quick question whilst I have you here. The London
Yes?
Esoteric Society, who is in it? I know there's Miss Carter and Lady Irene. I'm not familiar with the other members.
That
Just curious.
is the extent of the current membership, I believe. I don't think it's been officially expanded beyond the pair of them. There were a few others at the beginning, but they've left.
That's no problem. I was just curious because I'd only met the pair of the ladies.
It's just the ladies at the moment. I mean, I said there used to be 4 of them, so maybe well, they weren't really a society at that point. They were more just people. Okay. Anyway, yeah,
No problem. I'll just, I suppose, make my way to the library. I think chances are last time I was here we were shown where the library was.
yeah. The library is the first room at the front of the house.
Oh, fair enough, yes.
So we'd enter there.
Yeah.
And I
Franco
said-
would be best before me, to be fair.
I wave to the others. Hey, I'm back. I got the rat poison. Might have taken a bit longer than assumed, but yeah. No problems whatsoever.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I remember you mentioned something about Highgate Cemetery just over a week ago. To do with the graves, I think yourself and Morgan may have visited. I cannot remember if... I don't think Franco had. Anyway, I've just been to Highgate Cemetery myself to check my family crypt to make sure nothing had been broken into. And it looks like in the Egyptian quarter, a lot of the gates on the crypts had been scratched quite badly, as if something had tried to get in. But none of them have actually managed to get in. Well, none of them have been broken into, which is a good thing. And I spoke to the police officers who are standing outside the groundkeeper's hut and got a little bit of information out. They believe it's a lion or a tiger of some sort, and apparently it broke through a window and killed him in his home. But there was something strange I thought I'd look up in my library to see if I could get some information about what potentially could have been eating the corpses, and I found some information about a cult from the deserts. Some of the books I have specialise in the Arab world. Apparently there's these people, or this cult known as the Corpse Eaters of the Nile. They ate corpses in the belief that they could gain powers. I couldn't find much information about them other than they believed they gained powers by eating corpses. So it could be something like that we're dealing with.
Did they eat? Did the book say that they ate the corpses only, or would they kill people to eat them?
Keeper, was there any information about
It
that?
didn't specify. It did say that they were feared, but it didn't specify if they just ate the already dead or if they made their own corpses.
exactly, because they could just kill them and eat them, couldn't they? I don't think it said much on that. It did say they were quite feared in that part of the world, but I couldn't find a great deal of information about them. I was hoping to find some information about their strengths and weaknesses and ways to protect against them as such, but I couldn't find any info on that.
That's interesting. We spoke with Inspector Burns. Mr. McCrashley, would you mind explaining?
Yeah, so we spoke about with Inspector Barnes. He gave us the opportunity to check the cemetery at the evening. I don't know if you yeah, I'm going to get to the point. Last time we went there, most of the graves were sunk in, and Franco managed to go in one of the holes, and in the holes in one of the graves there was a big hole big enough to let a man go. So yeah, the keeper there told us about a badger or something like that, but yeah, badgers don't do holes big enough to let a person through. So yeah, that's what we have.
Yeah, it's worrying. If it is, I'd heard something some time ago about Egypt, but it's quite a few years back. I cannot quite remember what it was, but I'll need to check with someone to see if I can find the details, but there's something strange about 5-6 years ago.
Do you know the Vane family?
I know Earl Archibald Grey, but I'm not that familiar with Vane family themselves.
Okay, because a friend here, Franco, yeah, he thinks there is maybe a connection between the Vane family and what's happening in the cemetery, because when he went to the Vane estate, he heard some strange creature noises. So yeah, maybe related.
It could be. It is quite an old house as far as I recall. Could be old cellars and things that they disused or boarded up or blocked up or unfamiliar with. So possibly if something had dug from the cemetery, it could maybe have made its way into a disused cellar and could be hiding there.
Do you know if Lord Grey has some is interested in Egyptology?
Not to the best of my knowledge. He's I myself I'm involved with books and often import an artifact from the Far East usually, or just unusual items. I mean, even decorative rugs from India are quite sought after. But I don't believe he had an interest in Egypt. Could be completely wrong.
Yeah, I'm just asking.
Yeah, I would have thought it would have been something I would have known about, because him knowing that I import books and unusual artifacts and statues and figurines and from different parts of the world, I usually import stuff from where the British colonies are. But I would have thought he would have asked me. But there you go. It is something I need to look into, because I find it strange. Corpse eaters of the Nile, and I'm just wondering. Just something seems to remember. I'm trying to think if it's to do with the Belfonts. But I need to check.
Well, yeah, as you have a think on that and check your books, and as the four of you sit round and catch each other up on all the goings on, probably also the goings on of the last week or so of, oh, how have you been? That sort of stuff. I think this is a good point for us to go to break, and we'll be back in about 10 minutes' time. Fuck, I was trying to think. Yeah, long seconds. 1 long second, 2 long second. But that was not seconds long. Anyway, we're back as we're rambling on about the concept of time. And as the rain pours down outside, the London Esoteric Society, well, 1 official member of the London Esoteric Society and 3 currently, I guess, adjacent, I don't know what you call them. What's the word I'm looking for?
Consultants?
Yeah, consultants.
I was thinking victims, but
Yeah. Temps.
Well, it depends. Do you want to stay on?
It's a very good question. But yes, the 4 of you are sat discussing matters at Highgate Cemetery in the library of 18 Grosvenor Square.
What time of day is it? Not quite noon?
By now, it's probably a little past noon. Early afternoon.
Does anyone have any idea about what to do tonight? I'm assuming it's going to happen tonight.
Well, I was thinking we would get some meat from a butcher, like chopped whatever meat, who cares? Mix that with all the rat poison that I bought. And, once it's dark and the creatures on the graveyard getting food, we just drop it through the vent in the veins state. It's good, well hidden in some bushes, so nobody should really see us. And we could just drop it down there, and when it comes back, it might be sated, but it might just eat it. And the problem might solve itself.
we just leave the bait in the middle of the cemetery where it seems to be digging up the corpses.
True.
Yeah, like,
No, that can't guarantee that that somebody else might find it. And
I tend to
also
close it at night.
yeah, we have
it
access.
might just find a body before it does the bait, though.
The only thing is that we have access to the cemetery, not to the veins domain.
That's
And
an
you,
issue.
Dr. Davenport, you said that the gates to the
crypts in the Egyptian quarter.
you said they were all scratched up, which means it
Quite
can't
a few
get
of them.
through.
Yes.
So we could potentially lock ourselves inside there for safety after setting the bait.
We could potentially. I've got keys to one of the crypts, and I have got a light source. I tend to keep an oil lantern inside the crypt on the off chance it is it a dark evening, or a dark afternoon, or the fog, or London weather.
I'm not really sure that I feel comfortable hiding in a crypt after all that we've collectively heard.
But it is a potential. But I do believe it is probably a fair distance away from where the graves had been disturbed.
Which means you lay the bait, and with enough time for you to get back into a safe place. Apparently, houses no longer scare it, whatever it is.
Maybe it's ran out of the normal corpses that had been eaten. The easy corpses it could get access to, and has decided it has to make its own.
Either that or it needs to go further into the graveyard. Either way, that's probably the best way to do it, is place the bait inside the graveyard and let it eat while you wait inside the crypt, locked safe.
What if it can only eat you like humans? And it's some weird... I mean, we know it's some weird thing.
If it's eating corpses, I don't think it's that fussy.
I mean...
As you say, it could be. Yeah, I don't think we need to get a human corpse to chop up to do this. I think that'd be a... No. I think we'll go with this plan.
A beef leg, possibly. On the bone seems the best.
Is the rat poison in powder or something?
Yeah, probably pellets or something like that. Or I think there's also like liquid rat poison, depends on what I got.
Yeah, so
I was just looking up the history of rat poison. I'll get back to you in a moment. Carry on, I'll get back to you with rat poison details.
You'll want to go before they lock up for the night.
True, there's not going to be... There's no groundskeeper there. Are the police keeping watch outside after it's locked up?
Possibly, but we have permission from Inspector Barnes to be there.
We have, but it'd also mean there'd be backup. Should things go very wrong.
Well, the worst thing that could go wrong is if it escapes the graveyard.
That's a very good point. We don't want something like that. There had been stories about people going missing, I think, on Hampstead Heath as well a while back. I'm not sure if that's all tied in with this.
It's possible. Maybe it happened before it got contained somewhere.
Or settle down.
Mm-hmm. I have an even better idea, but it's much more risky. Let it into one of the crypts. Lure it into one of the crypts and lock it in.
That is a good plan.
It's just...
yeah, it's not going to be my family crypt, mind you. I'm not having a corpse-eating monster in there.
Are there any empty ones? Perhaps we can obtain the keys for that.
Very likely, with help with the police investigation, Inspector Barnes might be able to help with that. But yes, I believe there are probably a number of crypts in that quarter that haven't been taken.
Yeah, there'll probably be some that aren't filled yet, or have been claimed by families but haven't actually had anyone die to use them yet.
Bought in advance. And it is quite a new cemetery, all accounts and purposes. So we could try that. On the bright side, if we used that, we placed the bait in the one. We could hide in the other, and because the gates are metal as such, as long as the one isn't locked where we've placed the bait, we'd probably hear when it enters.
We just have to manage to get it shut and locked before it realizes what's happening.
So, carry on.
I was going to say, do the gates open inward or outward?
Outwards. Yes. So, am I correct in thinking your plan is to obtain the keys to another crypt next to the Davenport one, or nearby to the Davenport one? Lure the creature. Use the bait to lure the creature into the other crypt.
Poisoned bait.
The poison bait, and then shut it in there. Is that correct?
That is correct, Keeper.
Okay, so obtaining meat is not difficult at all. You can go to a butcher's and buy a large hunk of meat. In fact, you probably wouldn't even have to go to a butcher's. You could possibly just go downstairs and ask what James was planning to cook for dinner tonight. And grab a haunch of whatever. And requesting the keys.
It's a matter of asking the police for assistance.
Yes, well, because the keys would have been held by the groundskeeper. Spare keys would have been probably. At his house, which is currently unoccupied, as is the position of groundskeeper. But the police have been told to assist you. So, other than obtaining meat and permission to get the keys, is there anything else you would be acquiring before heading over to the graveyard that evening?
Yes, seeing we've got plenty of time before the evening, I want to check in on my sister to see how she is.
Okay, so you're heading over to visit your sister.
Yes.
Okay, has anyone else got anything else they'd like to do with the rest of the day before evening?
Maddie just is trying to instill in herself some courage and attempt to get herself ready for going, because she's probably going to be needed.
Okay. What about Franco and Morgan? Any other preparations or visits or anything you'd like to do before evening?
Going to clean my rifle. I think it will be maybe needed.
Franco will be thinking on how he defends himself in case of anything. Think about guns. It's not really knowing how to use them. Or anything else than his hands, which is probably not a good idea in that case. So there's some stuff that you can throw at people and that makes a loud boom when it hits or when the fuse goes down. So that might be,
I think you would find it a little hard to, in one afternoon, find a dynamite seller in the city of London.
True. Probably
who's
problematic.
Just willing to sell dynamite to you.
Also, I really don't want to have to bother the inspector again when they catch me after buying copious amounts of rat poison. Strychnine on top of that, then running around with a box of dynamite.
And also, I'm not sure the police or any of the London authorities would be very happy if you blew up part of Highgate Cemetery.
Please don't.
Well, I guess that's not gonna happen. Huh?
Yes, you are not able to purchase any dynamite at this time.
That's true. He'll be running around and thinking about stuff and getting to the solution of, I'm just gonna be running faster than the others.
Okay. So as the three of you mentally steel yourself for this evening, Mortimer heads over to Blackwood Hall on the outskirts of London, the home of his dear sister, who is surprised by this unexpected visit. Mortimer, darling, I did not expect to see you here today.
Afternoon. It's been so long since I've seen you. I thought I'd better pop in and visit and see how you're doing.
It's barely been over a week since that brief visit appearance you made at the party.
I'm sorry, I had to leave quite early, and I'd been sort of roped into assisting on a police investigation.
Well, you're working with the police now.
No, I was well, you heard about the Yates and the Bidwell murder?
Oh,
I think it was in the papers.
yes. I think you mentioned something about that. Maybe.
Yes.
I don't remember. There was some rather fine wine that Cousin Archie had brought that evening, and I have to confess that large portions are a little bit of a blur. You know.
But no. Yates had murdered Bidwell, and for some reason after that came to my bookstore, and that's how I got involved with it.
Yes. I read about the case.
But,
It was quite
yes.
shocking.
But I had to leave early because I was assisting with this, because I've met Yates so I could identify him, and he was caught later on. But no,
Well, that's very good.
the other reason, I don't think we have to worry about Morgan McCrashley, because I don't think he's actually looking into anything to do with us.
Oh, splendid. God, it was
I was worried at first, but I don't believe he is.
Good. Yes, I knew it was a mistake at the time, that, you know, and I didn't have the facility the operation without you was...
I've been tempted to return to that, but things have gotten a little strange around London at the moment.
Yes.
Interesting, but...
Yeah, it wasn't even for the money. It was a favour for Archie. So...
Were you okay with sorting out the, the cover-up as such, the proper paperwork to make sure it all went through customs and...
Well, oh yeah, that side I'm... No fingers should be pointed at me. That should all be fine. All the unfortunate business was nothing to do with me.
That's good.
In fact, I don't think it was anything to do with the smuggling operation. I think it's just one of those horrible coincidences that happens, and suddenly you start to worry. Anyway, enough of that. But I dealt with the paperwork.
I have a plan to deal with that. What we could... How long ago was this? Was it about a few years back?
Oh, it was tail end of 81, I think.
Because I was tempted to mention how not Bidwell, I'm losing my mind here, Belfonts had tried to ask me to import some items for them. And, well, we know not to deal with them ourselves. So I refused, so I could point the finger towards them, because that's a safe bet.
I'll blame everything on the Belfonts and there.
Exactly. What was it that you got in? What item?
Oh, some necklace. It came out of Cairo. Supposedly from a tomb. Well, most of Cairo comes from a tomb.
True.
Supposedly, fifth dynasty, sixth dynasty. I get my dynasties mixed up. Some pharaoh. No, not a pharaoh. A queen. It belonged to her. Mostly I just handled, no questions asked. This is definitely not a smuggling valuable artifact into the country.
Nothing valuable.
It was a very pretty piece. I saw it.
Was there anything interesting about it that you remember?
All silver and emeralds, a necklace.
That sounds really nice, actually.
I know, it was the kind of thing... I could see a market for it, but I don't know. I mean, I don't know what Archie wanted it for. I mean, Arabella never went out, so I hardly see why she'd need such an expensive necklace at such great cost.
True, but it was a pretty necklace by the sound of things.
Yes, I don't know what happened to it. Archie never mentioned.
No, it's probably not the sort of thing worth talking about, to be fair.
I try not to bring up Arabella around him, like he...
Yeah, it's not the best of subjects. But, I was meaning to drop in a copy, a translation of that book I gave you as well. I have actually got a translation of it, but I'll have that dropped in at some point soon.
Excellent, excellent.
It's not that easy. It took me some time to do, but I'll drop it in. I should really be off. I was just wanting to let you know about Morgan McCrashley.
Well, as long as you just keep Mr. McCrashley off my tail and everything will be good.
It will. I was concerned that he was following me at first, but I believe he was just keeping me safe because of the police investigation, so I'm fine.
Well, excellent, excellent indeed. Yes, the business with his family was awful, but I'm fairly sure nothing to do with us.
Exactly. But, I'll better leave. We've got a strange case we're looking into, something to do with an incident at Highgate Cemetery.
Since when were you... Never mind. I can see that the book selling is no longer exciting enough for you, brother. I always thought when you took it up that,
The book's... It's a cover story for all my
You were
excitement.
made for a much more exciting life than selling books. We both know that.
We shall have to see how things go. That'll certainly keep you up to date with anything really interesting that turns up.
No, I love a bit of gossip. Okay, well,
Exactly.
good luck with your grave robbing or whatever it is you're up to.
Oh. No, I'm not going anywhere near the body.
I do hope not. Well, have a lovely time.
You too. I'll better make my exit.
Okay. So you'll make your exit and reconvene with the others as we head over to Highgate Cemetery as evening draws near us. The sky darkens from grey to slightly darker grey, and you arrive up at the grand gates of Highgate Cemetery. The police officer kind of gives you an odd look and then kind of notes Mortimer that he recognises from earlier, as one of the police officers is one of the same ones that was on earlier, who looks very soggy and unhappy.
You've had a long day.
Yes. Brown didn't turn up.
It's always the way when the weather's
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah. I was told to expect some... The inspector didn't really tell me who I was told to expect, but he gave me some names. I recognise yours. Dr. Davenport, right? You...
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I believe there's Miss Carter here, Franco Bernice, and Morgan McCrashley.
Right. What can I do to help?
I'm not sure. What do you think, Miss Carter?
We are here to assist Inspector Burns with the investigation of this graveyard. We require the keys to some of the crypts, and she's visibly shaken. She is uncomfortable. Should we call for assistance if you would come as quickly as possible?
Right. Keys come to assist if you call for... You think the what did you say it was, Mr. Doctor of the Panther? Do you think the Panther might come back?
Could be a panther. We have bait to trap it in one of the crypts,
Right.
so we should be okay. It'll be locked up in one of those quite securely, hopefully.
Right.
Hopefully there's one that's, empty.
Yeah, I'll find, hang on. This... Oliver family crypt. don't think, if I'm understanding, don't think this should be occupied. I guess I'm not really a groundskeeper of a graveyard. I think I'm reading this map right. But yeah, Oliver family crypt. We'll stay by the gate. Well, I'm actually off shift, hopefully very soon. But whoever takes over from me and
Outside the gate.
outside
The gate. Just in case we don't want you mauled as well. We plan on waiting inside one of the crypts, safe behind the bars, so that we could not be attacked.
Right. We'll stay outside the gates and come if you scream.
Yes.
This doesn't seem a safe place for a young lady.
They did say they needed bait.
Oh, well, you are... Are you sure is this... I mean... Does your husband know you're here?
I am unwedded.
Your father? Right, anyway, miss, right,
I have
Anyway.
permission from the inspector to be here.
Here are your keys.
Thank you. I will take the keys and I will hand them to Mortimer, since he knows his way around the graveyard.
Okay. So, I'll head towards the Egyptian Quarter. I know the way.
Okay.
But on the way, I'd like to mention to the rest of these people here, I found out about something that may have came into London. Must have been, over 5 years ago, maybe 6, 7. A strange necklace from Egypt. The Belfonts had wanted, this is where I remembered the matter about Egypt. They'd, because I import a lot of stuff as such from different parts of the world, but Egypt's not a part of the world I get involved with importing from. But the Belfonts had approached me about adding an item to one of our manifests, or one of our deliveries, and I don't think anyone involved with partnership with the Belfonts has actually come out better at the end of it, so I decided not to get involved because, well, I'm fairly certain most of them had unfortunate ends. But this strangest necklace, it came out of Cairo. I can't find much about it other than 5th, 6th dynasty. Apparently it belonged to some sort of queen, and the necklace is silver with a lot of emeralds on. But I don't know much more than that.
Does the necklace sound familiar to me?
It is not a necklace that you've ever seen before? Or
No,
heard
but
of?
he did say that it came out of Egypt.
Okay, yes,
This
make me
Cairo?
an Egyptology or archaeology or history, Earl. I forgot that you actually have quite a lot of points in that thing. Yes.
Yes.
I forget sometimes
Well,
May's
that's-
original occupation before she became the local sorceress.
That is a success.
Yes, you have heard of this necklace. In fact, it was notable that it was stolen around 6 years ago in Egypt, disappeared presumably onto the black market. It was quite a notable piece, valuable for its emeralds alone, let alone for any historical value. But it was supposedly belonged to a 6th century, either a pharaoh or a queen, depending on what account you read. And its origins are a little obscure because it doesn't seem like it was buried with its owner. It seems like it has been passed down somewhat. But it was known as the Necklace of Nitocris.
I will, off the top of my head, I will start spouting that information out.
Yes, Morgan. I see your hand is raised.
Yay, because I want to ask if does that ring a bell for me? Because I was looking into the black market at the same period. It's the same period that I got my accidents. So does that seem a bell, or just I know there was something, but I don't know nothing about Egypt. I don't know nothing about.
Make me. I'm just gonna say a straight intelligence roll for you, unless you can think of a good skill that relates to this. I can't.
I will say maybe investigation, but I'm not.
If you've got a skill in investigation, yes.
Normally, yes.
As in, like, private investigation or anything of that sort of stuff. If not, I will take intelligence.
But it's not a skill, actually. It wasn't spot hidden. No, that's not it. Okay, let's put an intelligence in.
Yes. Okay, just a straight success. So you were digging into smuggling operations around that time.
Yep.
And a lot of... Well, in fact, the organisation you were digging into were known for mostly smuggling goods out of the Far East. Valuable carpets, that sort of thing. But that actually the final case you were on, when you were really narrowing down on it, was supposedly smuggling black market goods out of Egypt into London. That was what you were just getting close to the crux of something when everything went terrible.
That's kind of...
You never got to know exactly what was being smuggled, but it was from Egypt that was causing the problem.
That's all interesting, to be honest. I'll be straightforward. Before I got my accident, I was on a case about goods coming from Egypt through the black market. I was really to the point I was getting somewhere, and it's then I had my accident. My family was attacked. I was attacked just a little after that. So it's kind of, yeah.
Things all tied in. It's a bit of a strange coincidence.
Yeah, and I know a few years after that, when I came back to search about persons who are responsible for this, the name Belfont came true.
I know they're involved with a lot around the Mediterranean, so that could touch on Egypt.
Like I said, I'll be straightforward. Belfont spoke your name out.
He had actually, I think, this item could have been what he had wanted us to import from Egypt, but I'm not involved with anything to do with...
I'm not saying you're involved, just
sorry, I think he had approached us because... But we weren't going to get involved with him, so unless he's just trying to, I don't know, shift blame or... I don't know.
Is it possible he maybe thought you will be able to help him with it?
No, I don't do anything like that.
No, what I mean is, like, if you know something, if you could help him with contacts, just for example.
Oh, it's possible, but no. I've learnt from experience that anyone involved with the Belfonts tend to have unpleasant ends, so I keep my distance from them as much as I can. I mean, I don't think there's a single person I know in the import-export business who've worked with the Belfonts that's actually come out better for it. I can't think of any names myself because it's different people I tend to deal with, but no. No, it's best not to help them or work with them or get involved with them. It's what I learnt. But it could be this item. It is a bit strange. Keeper, just wondering, what does Nitocris mean? Is that an English word, or it's not something?
It's not an English word.
Not Latin?
No. From the description that Maddie gave, Nitocris is supposedly the name of whoever owned this. It's a person.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah. Sorry.
It's okay.
Yeah.
I was just checking
Whether
because
they were, who exactly they were, isn't really understood. It's more sort of a folklorish name rather than a pinned down historical.
it wasn't
name.
a name to do with the corpse eaters of the Nile, was it? Does it cult?
It wasn't mentioned in your book about
Fair
it. No,
enough. Yeah, that's okay. I was just checking.
your book was only sort of a passing mention of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so as you've had this little heart-to-heart at the gates of Highgate, the sun has started to set.
Let's go get to that vault.
Please, let's hurry. Likely we will need somebody on top of the thing if they open outward so that they can swing it closed quickly.
I suspect we probably would have brought light sources with us.
Yeah.
Yeah. There is one in the crypt anyway, as backup, but yes, I think...
I think it was reasonable for you to have brought lanterns with you.
Yeah, if they would have been brought in the coach or something along those lines.
Yes, because as we've established with Franco before, it's quite a long walk to get to Highgate Cemetery, so I'm assuming you brought the coach. But yeah, so you've got lanterns, and you've got your bait. Where exactly would everyone like to be?
I am going to put myself as far away as possible.
Is there a place I can feasibly hide?
Well, we are going to need one person to be atop the crypt so that they can reach down and close the gate once the creature's gone inside. If they had opened inward, we could have tied a rope to it to pull it, but that's not going to work.
The fact that they open outwards would probably be worth getting something like we could possibly wedge it closed with whilst we try to lock it, but
A proper wedge would have worked.
like a door wedge type thing. But
I mean, you've had time. You had time to prepare for this, so you could have brought a door wedge with you.
something along those lines. I know there's quite a few trees in Highgate as well, so potentially there's trees around.
I guess fair. Okay. I mean, how does the roof of that crypt look? Is there like ornamental stuff that you could hide behind that would fit like a person? If I were to
It's
climb
got
up
like
there.
a bit of a ledge at the top, but not massive amounts of ornamental stuff. I'm going off the picture of the Egyptian, of the rows of crypts from Highgate.
Which is posted in Discord
Yes,
for anyone
yes.
who would like to see.
Yes.
In the cult stuff channel.
Yes. Legitimately cool, creepy-looking crypts in a graveyard. Like, I need to go and visit this cemetery because it sounds interesting.
Very Bram Stoker.
But yeah. Yeah, so it's a little hard to perch up directly above it and still be able to reach the door because it's got a bit. But I think you could probably, if you're careful about balancing, wedge yourself on those ledges above it if you are brave.
Well, let me look again. I was thinking about not. I mean, hiding up there is probably not feasible, but if I'm on top, is behind that little wall there, I'm probably gonna be able to hear when whatever the fuck that is goes in there, and
And then you can leap over.
You leap over, try to just yeet it together and run.
The bait would be at the far end of the crypt as well, at the back. To give
I mean,
it
obviously, yeah. It wouldn't be laid in the front, so it doesn't even have to enter the crypt. Now that doesn't work.
Can be your backup if you like to.
Yeah. It would probably, those doors are heavy. It'd probably be best if we are two people.
I'm just curious now. Would we have had access to like a bear trap or something?
Probably not in the time you've had, because bear traps aren't a big seller in London.
Oh, I was thinking with no, if we wouldn't have it with hunting. The sort of man trap type things. I was
Yeah,
thinking of.
but I don't think. I mean, we're talking Victorian London here.
Yeah.
Bears are
Countryside, potentially,
not.
but-
I mean, even in the English countryside, bears are not really a major concern.
True, those traps still
Fun
found.
Fun fact, those traps were made for humans, and Bear was the name of the person who invented them.
Ah, there we go.
Man traps.
Yeah, so if you were like a landowner trying to keep thieves off your land, you'd probably have them. I don't think you'd have had a chance to get them in the one afternoon you've had.
No, it's okay. It just occurred to me we could have had one set up there near the bait.
Boom.
I will need to be near it, but not directly in front of it, just so that I can see it and maybe make it not move for a minute.
Are you not being in the safe crypt?
I will be in the safe crypt, but I will still need to see the person, thing, beast, to stop it from moving to give us some time, if at all possible.
I think we'll be close enough, but I don't think we should try that. That
Okay.
would be like an emergency, because it does take a lot out of you.
It does. It does.
And I think it's quite a risk. It could be an option if things start to go wrong, but that'll be a last resort, I think.
All right. Where am I hiding?
That is my question to you. Who is going to be locked safely inside the Davenport crypt? Okay. And who is outside of the crypt? Okay. So, Mortimer and Maddie are locked behind the big iron gates of the Davenport crypt. Safe from any harm. Franco, do you have any sort of light in there? Or are you sat in the darkness?
I've got a feeling we require light. For some reason.
Yes, please.
Okay. So you've got your oil lamp burning in there. So you can see the light shining out from this crypt, lighting it up dimly as the sun sets. Where are you putting the bait meat?
At the furthest point in the deepest place of that crypt that we have open.
Okay. And where are the two of you? Are you just lurking around ready to slam the door? Or are you trying to hide?
We're trying to hide, definitely. We don't want to become the bait.
Okay. Could I ask for a stealth roll from the people trying to hide?
Oof. I'm invisible.
That's an extreme success from our dear friend, Mr. Franco, over here.
And stealth. Is it?
Yes.
Yep.
Oh.
And Morgan is... You're hiding. You don't feel you're quite as well hidden as Franco. But for a big guy, he's somehow got a way of folding himself into small places. But, yes, hidden as you are, night falls. Time passes as you wait and wait. And I'm going to ask the two of you who are outside the crypt to make me your choice of listen or spot hidden. Spot hidden will be with a penalty die because it is dark.
You need that 1 point. I will give it to you.
So would you like to make this a hard success?
I think that's a good idea, yeah. Let's take that point in there.
Alright. So as you wait in the darkness, Morgan, you can't hear anything other than the drip drip of water off the ends of the crypts, the rustle of the leaves in the wind. Franco, however, you hear something else alongside the natural sounds of the night. The sound of something moving towards you. The shifting, shuffling gait.
It's coming.
Just a quick question. Could I do a listen check? Because although we're not actually looking out as such, we could probably do, maybe, I don't know whether it'd be a hard listen because we're not actually outside or...
You can both give me a listen. It is all a hard listen because this thing has been quite quiet and stealthy, actually.
That's a hard success.
Maddie, you can hear something coming. Something is creeping and prowling towards where you're hiding. The only light currently is the light coming out between the bars of the crypt. Otherwise, everything is in darkness.
I am actually going to move closer to Dr. Davenport, and I am actually going to grip his arm and say, something's coming.
Just grab her arm, I'll just nod and see if I can see anything through the bars. But I'm trying to get...
Are you going up to the bars to look out?
Not getting close to the bars, I'm just looking out.
In order to look out properly, you're going to have to get close to the bars. From this distance, you can't really see anything. It's dark outside.
I'm not moving on the off chance.
Okay. Those two of you outside. Franco, you can hear it before you see it. This padding, shuffling movement. As this hunched over form comes into view of the dim light spreading from the bars. And it looks to be bipedal, although slightly hunched over. You can't make out the full details in the dim light at the moment. But it looks almost humanoid in shape and form, slightly crouched over as it tilts its head back and forth as it's scenting the breeze. You see as it twists around and turns towards where Morgan is hiding.
Is there loose pebbles, anything?
There's stones around. There's all sorts around.
Carefully pick one up and toss it over the creature, hoping to make a noise behind it to get it distracted from where Morgan is.
Okay.
I'm trying
Make me
not
a
to
throw
reveal,
roll, please.
trying not to reveal myself doing that.
There's a clatter behind it. The creature turns its head away from Morgan for an instant. Where it been?
I think he spoke out and say out loud that the creature was there. Did I hear him?
No, he was being quiet because he didn't want it to find him.
Okay.
You can see it, just the shadow of it. You can't see it properly yet. You can just see the silhouette of it against the dim light from the.
Yeah. So I've got my rifle.
The shadow outline of it.
I'm pointing at it with my rifle. That's
okay. You got a gun readied.
Yeah.
See as it looks over towards where the sound of the clattering was, and then turns back towards Morgan. There's a sort of crouch, bunching of muscles, and then it springs forwards towards Morgan. And as it springs forwards, you can hear movement outside. You hear the scrape of claws. You hear something moving. It's not close enough to the bars for you to see it, but you hear it. Franco, you see this shadowed form leap towards Morgan. Morgan, you see this thing lunge towards you. I need a sanity roll from you before anything else, as this thing comes into view. And you will be making this... Actually, no. I'm just going to make this a straight sanity roll, but the results of this might be different.
Got my successful sanity roll.
Okay. You lose only 1 point of sanity. You're sometimes holding yourself together. But as this thing lunges forwards towards you, it is familiar. You have seen it before.
All right.
And the scars on your face sort of
Start to itch.
binge in sympathy. Yeah.
Oh. I recognize you, bastard. And you recognize my scent, I'm sure of it.
You've got a split second to do something.
I'm shooting.
Alright.
I'm shooting. Definitely shooting.
Okay. You've got a bonus die for point blank range.
And an extreme success.
The gunshot rings out across the graveyard. This shot pierces through this thing. That is 8 points of damage as the shot rings out. Blowing a chunk out of this creature's flesh. But not enough to stop it entirely. The gunshot knocks it back a step, but it takes a swing round. These familiar, long, ragged claws striking out towards you. Morgan, you have the opportunity to try and dodge out the way, or to try and wrestle back against it. What would you like to do?
What I'm going to do is dodge, but in a manner that I could get back on my feet to shoot again.
Well, we'll see how it goes. Give me a dodge roll, please.
Oh, that's harsh.
You do not succeed, and you feel the rake of these claws into you. And where did I? As these claws rake into you, feel it. This is a familiar pain, a familiar striking of this into you. Oof. That will be 8 points of damage, which I believe classifies as a major wound.
That's possible.
Okay, so I'm going to go next to Franco before I go to the two of you in the crypt, because he is close enough to see what's happening as well as hear the gunshot. Franco, this all happens in an instant to you. You see the creature lunge towards Morgan. You hear the sound of the gunshot, the flash of the muzzle, and then this creature just ripping at Morgan's flesh.
Where's the creature in relation to the gate we wanted it in?
How far was Morgan hiding from the gate you wanted the creature in?
I and Morgan were basically on top of the entrance somewhere.
Then it's on top of the entrance with you, yes.
Okay. I'm going to do something that's stupid.
Go on.
I'm trying to run up and just tackle its leg, trying to get it to fall off the front downwards toward the.
I see what you're
because
doing
I need to get it away from Morgan because he's gonna die.
Okay, this is a maneuver. I think we're going to resolve this as fighting brawl. Does it sound alright?
Yeah.
Yeah. So roll me your fighting brawl, please.
I'm just gonna run into a wall.
Are you ready to fumble?
2 fumbles in one session.
Same person too.
And Roll20 really doesn't like me.
No, I think you're cursed. You're clearly cursed. So
We have your ring in chat.
I don't know, but that certainly seems like it. On a fumble, I'm going to say what happens is the creature is still very much on top of the crypt with Morgan. However, what Mortimer and Maddie see is Franco just drop down off the top of the crypt and land with a thud in front of the gates of your crypt and the crypt next to it. Franco, you will take 3 points of damage from this escapade as you crash heavily into the ground in front of the crypts. Yes, Morgan.
Does the creature
I think I need a constitution roll from you, by the way, at this point. I think
success?
Good. You are still conscious.
So does the creature saw Franco, was distracted by him or something like that?
It does seem to have seen him long enough to help kind of push him over the edge.
Okay.
We'll get back to you in a moment.
Yep.
I'm just going to ask if Maddie and Mortimer, you hear a gunshot, you see Franco thud down in front of the crypt door.
I'm opening the crypt door.
Okay.
I'm grabbing the light.
All right, so you open the crypt door and
I'll have my pistol drawn ready.
head out. Franco, can I have a sanity roll from you actually at this moment as well? Because you did get close enough to see this thing. And if both of you are heading out, Maddie and Mortimer, I'm afraid I do need sanity rolls from you as this thing comes into view, crouched over, ready to bite and tear more out of Morgan.
I have the light with me, so it's a lot brighter too.
Yes, you can see it much more clearly now. And you can see this. It's almost like a person, but it looks wrong and twisted. Its face sort of almost elongated into this canine-like snout. More almost jackal or hound than straightforward human. But its flesh also is moulded, sort of patched with grave mould. And it smells of like the dampness of like dank water and crypts.
I failed by 35 points.
Yes, could you roll me a d6, please? And Franco, please.
I got a hard success on that
You
sanity.
do not lose any sanity because you have not been traumatized by one of these things in the past.
I've got a 4.
Okay. Does that bring you below your daily limit?
Daily.
The one on the box on the left?
Yeah. It brings me from 13 to 11. No, 9. 10.
So it should probably,
yes.
yeah.
Yes, you don't have, unfortunately, you don't have much wiggle room. But you are also already definitely insane, so this will trigger a bout of madness anyway. So could you roll me a d10? Franco, could you roll me an intelligence roll, please? To see if you are able to somehow rationalize this away. No, you are not. That's
where you roll a 2, fucking roll 20 all the time.
An extreme success. You know exactly what this is. This is some horrible monster that is trying to eat Morgan's face, and I need you to roll me a d10, as you are also suffering a bout of madness.
I
And
rolled
my
a
dice have all
4.
fallen on the floor.
TPK, TPK, TPK.
Okay, so Maddie. Oh. You feel this weight, this mistrust, this deep-seated paranoia. Like, these people have lured you to this place. They brought you here. Perhaps they're in league with this thing. Nobody here is to be trusted. Franco, the world goes dark. Perhaps the candle was snuffed out. But you're not entirely sure. But everything has descended into complete and endless blackness. You can't see anything.
Well, I'm still conscious, but everything's black.
Oh, you're still conscious, but everything is black. You can't see anything at all. As, Morgan, I think we should go back to you. You've just been clawed at by this creature that is now hunched over you, its muzzle sort of in line with your face, its jaw open, teeth ready to snatch and bite at your flesh. What would you like to do?
I'm just screaming, oh, fucking hell. If I'm dying, you're going with me. And I'm going to shoot it, but really from close quarters.
You have, bonus die, point blank range. At this point, it's very hard to miss.
I imagine that you've got the rifle right under its jaw or something right up close.
It's trying to sort of move its head out of the way. But...
And it's a success.
It is a success. The gunshot echoes through the night as this creature's head is blown to pieces. Because that is 15 points of damage, which is overkill. The form twitches for a moment and then falls still.
I'm going to turn and walk away. I'm taking the light with me.
Okay,
I'm
so the
walking
light
straight
moves
to the
away.
exit.
One of the light sources. Are
Yes.
you taking the one from the crypt or the ones that we would have brought with us?
I've got the one that I have with me.
It would have probably been the one that you would have brought one with you from the carriage.
Mm-hmm. But yes, I'm walking straight for the entrance of the graveyard.
Franco's just lying there, still, and listening.
I'm just going to go over to check on Morgan to see his injuries, but I'm also going to check on to see what the hell that thing was. And actually, to
Which
see
are
if
you
it's
doing
got
first? What's your priority?
the thing. I'm guessing is downed, so I'll check on Morgan first.
Okay, he's bleeding really rather badly. I think. I mean, how many hit points have you got left, Morgan?
4.
Yeah,
I've got
he's-
12 hit points and I've...
Okay. Can I do? I'm assuming I would have brought my medical bag with me anyhow because I would have thought it's getting messy. I'll try and do some first aid.
Okay, give me a first aid roll, please.
Let's see.
As you're quickly patching up wounds. Maddie, you're walking away into the shadows of the graveyard. Any particular direction, or just...
Straight towards the entrance. I am leaving. I am going to take the carriage and leave everybody behind.
Okay, as you get halfway across the graveyard, your head does begin to clear a little. It's up to you whether you still want to carry out this course of action.
Oh no, I'm definitely going to carry out this course of action.
Yeah, alright, you're leaving. This is why you don't go to graveyards at night.
This is why I don't go out at night.
Mm-hmm.
I got a success on the first aid roll, but if necessary, I
Okay.
could make it a hard success.
Morgan?
But
You get 1 point back as the wounds are patched and the bleeding is staunched. But you still have a major wound, which is relevant. for the
That
future.
would. I could possibly try and treat that with medicine, could I? But that would take time.
Yes, but not in a dark graveyard at night.
No, exactly. I could probably treat that back at either my place where I've got more medical equipment or at theirs.
Okay, Franco. Your vision is beginning to return to you.
And the moment I can start seeing stuff
You realize
again,
maybe you just didn't want to see. Maybe you just had your eyes closed out of fear. You're not entirely sure. It's almost that point where, oh, I can open my eyes.
yeah.
And the
I'll
creatures.
just keep saying, looking upwards towards the sky, and on the notion that I'm not dead yet, and that they're not hearing any eating sounds, and that it was a gunshot sound, and then there was nothing anymore. I think you killed it. I'll start looking around, but then probably see like the body of the thing and just scooch back like 2 to 3 meters, something like that. And then, take some more time to calm down. Morgan, you okay?
I'll leave. Maybe.
I'm sure you'll live. It's just a flesh wound.
You know what? I don't fucking care. I've got that fucking creature and it's all that's important to me now.
I'll have a look at the creature. Has it got a silver necklace on?
No. The only clothing it appears to be wearing is this ragged remnants of some kind of, perhaps it's like a tunic or a dress. It's not in good condition, but it's definitely not wearing any jewelry.
And nothing stands out on it. We probably should drag that into the crypt we'd planned to lock it up. We could try to do that just so it's... Well, actually, I don't know. Should we have the police try and clean this up? I don't know what we should do about this. This is a mess.
Let's get the officers are supposed to come when they hear a scream or something, but I think gunshots...
They're coming. You're quite a long way from the entrance. They,
Call for the devil, right?
Yeah. In fact, Maddie, actually, you would get... As you're heading towards the gate, you cross paths with the police officers coming the other way. You go, oh, are you all right, miss?
I'm going home. The others are back there.
Do they need help?
Possibly. I don't know. But I am going home.
Do you need someone to escort you home? Make sure you get home safe.
I have the carriage.
Okay. Stay safe. It's dangerous out at night for a young lady.
I understand. Good night.
Right. We should go see what those gunshots were.
So, I guess that's a win?
It is, but it'd probably be worth trying to find out where this thing came from. Not tonight, though.
And you can just use those tunnels that it dug to the different graves.
Well, at least hopefully this has stopped any more of this, well, I suppose corpse stealing, corpse eating.
Is everyone all right?
Morgan's probably got a fair bit of blood all over him, to be fair, from that sort of hit.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
My blood, his blood, everything's blood. Like,
Oh, is that... What the... Oh my god, what the hell is that? Oh my god, what the hell is that? And just the police officer just crumples down to his knees.
What do we think it is?
A werewolf?
No, I think it's just, could it be an oversized creature, beast from a circus? Could be. I'm just thinking something strange here. shopkeeper.
Yes.
Back in this time period, they had did they have like freak show type things going on?
Yes, they would. Yes.
I'm trying to think of
Oh.
what they used to call them.
I
But
think probably
you know what
exactly that. They weren't particularly subtle about it.
I didn't think they were. I'm trying to be
Wolfmen.
politically correct, but it's
Yeah.
not possible. It is what it is. What it was.
It's a wolf man or a wolf woman.
Yeah. So
That's what I'll. Yeah, it's must have escaped from a circus. It's one of those weird
freak show boys.
freak. Yes,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, that's-
Wolfman.
What, you just got insane and started just attacking people?
I mean, you never know with those
and-
freaks, right?
that's what it could be.
That's.
I didn't know that there was a circus nearby. It could have been. Maybe it's been hiding out here in the cemetery some time. Because look at the clothes. I mean, maybe it's been hiding here for quite some time.
Yes. Maybe.
But at least now this business is all sorted and solved.
Yeah. Yeah. Excuse me, I'll be back in a minute. I think I'm just going to get me sick. I'll be back in a moment.
So what should we do about this now? Just head back? We'll have to contact Inspector Barnes, more than likely. And I've got the horrible feeling we haven't got a carriage.
I think if we could ask when two gents are getting their emotions back together, ask if the body could be put aside so we can look at it tomorrow morning.
Do you want
And
to?
Like a pathology type thing.
yeah,
Oh, there's that doctor who's looking into the victim, so... Yes, definitely. And we need to see to your injuries to see what we can do about those.
that's not half a bad idea.
Yeah. And we probably all need a drink.
Yes.
Yeah, and I need about 5 pages of paper.
Oh, that's true. This is going to be a good story for you.
Yeah, that's gonna be the werewolf of the cemetery.
So
And I'll
yes.
blame
I-
Scotland Yard for killing it.
You mean give them the credit?
Give him the credit.
Yeah.
So yeah, would you? Are we leaving locking this in the crypt till morning?
I think that's probably the best idea. We can try to have word. I don't think we can get word to Inspector Barnes or anyone like that.
Probably not at night. So we could leave it till morning.
But yes, this is the crypt we had planned to set as a trap for it, but it seemed to be a bit smarter than we thought. But we could just have it dragged into there, locked up, and can be dealt with in daylight hours.
Yeah.
Probably best.
Yep. Just shove it in there, lock it up. Try not to think about it.
I'll probably have in my medical bag likely hip flask with some medicinal brandy, which I'll offer to both police officers actually, because
Wait, I need two.
I think I'll pass it to everyone because I think, yeah, it's one of those moments.
Yes. But yeah, the body is placed in the crypt. And when you return to the gates of the cemetery, you find that the carriage you arrived in has gone, along with Maddie.
Yeah, well, that was to be expected.
At least we know Maddie's probably safe though.
True. And we'll be fine. It's just a short hike.
I'm not entirely sure, Morgan. How are you for? We could just try and get a carriage from somewhere.
The police can probably help you get. I think they
They
must
can.
have had some form of transportation. They can. No, perhaps they've got a bicycle they can lend you. I don't think McCrashley is in any condition to be cycling.
No,
But
I'm not
through
sure.
various means, you manage to arrange a means of passage back into the city.
Yes.
As we're doing that, I would go to Mortimer and be like, This is weird stuff. You think this might just regrow its head?
If it does, it's locked up and it couldn't break in, so
True.
it can't break out.
Hopefully true.
had
It is
thought about-
intelligent, though.
Yeah.
I mean, it tried to. I
Brains
thought
in
it
the
tried to
head, though.
dodge his gun,
Yeah, I don't
so
know
it
what
knew
it
what his
was.
gun was.
Yeah, I don't know what it was, but at least it's locked up, it's sealed up. I had thought if we could use one of these oil lanterns to set it alight, but
He knew me. The creature I already saw it.
is it the
So the-
same one?
It's the same one. It's the same bastard that
When
yeah.
did that happen to you?
In my home in Edinburgh. It's maybe not the same, I don't know, but it looked really like the same one.
That is just... Was it sent after you by someone?
I can't recall it. I just know that when I came back, all the assholes were dead. When I came to the room of my wife, there it was. The light just came up. The light just went out.
At least you got it. At least that's some sort of closure for you.
Yeah, if it's the same one. But strangely, when I saw him, it's like there was a connection. It's like I was sure it was it. And it knows, it was like it knew I was there.
You recognised it and it recognised you.
Yeah, strangely.
That is.
I mean, it was smelling around, so maybe it just smelled you and recognized the scent. And then obviously the bait's not going to work.
Because he knew my scent, he was not going after the bait. He knew he was going to finish what he started.
I'm wondering if this was the creature that you had heard, Franco, underneath that estate.
Maybe. You know what? I mean, you guys got some time, right? Oh, just go. I'll find a way.
Oh, you're snooping again, aren't you?
Yeah. I'm gonna check. Double
I
check.
think this may be where we end tonight's
Yep.
section. And
Just, do I need to do a medicine roll now, or should I do it next time?
I think we'll wait until everyone's reached safety and recovery.
Fair enough.
And there's, but yeah, we should have chance tomorrow/next week when things pick up in the morning after your escapades in the graveyard. Unless anyone wants to try any foolish last-minute late-night adventures, but that will be a matter for next week.
Well, foolish late night adventure would be to just check whether I can still hear the breathing. But
I mean, as established, it's not as simple as it seems, but we will see. But yes, so the Highgate horror has been dealt with, but many questions linger. What is it? Where did it come from? Is it the same creature that attacked McCrashley before? And if so, why? Was it operating on its own orders, or did someone send it? Will we ever find out? Do I know? Who knows? Find out next week on the London Esoteric Society.